Okay, we're back for last round. Josh Mulligan. We'll keep this again on the strength of Core Serve Crew Fix and Hero's Downfall. Okay, that's a pretty good Thoughtseize. A pretty good draw, rather. Alright. I have to draw land next turn. Although Standard Wayfinder would be fine as well. Definitely taking the Rabble Master here. Hero's Downfall can handle the Butcher, and then Wingmate Rock isn't that scary after that. So, that's not a land. Gonna pass the turn. We have a pretty big problem here. I think the keep was totally reasonable, though. Just drew three straight non-land cards. Happens. It's been happening quite a bit in the past few matches, this series specifically, that we've been getting mana screwed. But I think it's more of a function of a small sample size than uh, than like an actual pattern in my mulligan decisions. Although I could be wrong. I'm gonna concede this. Not drawing a land just isn't good. We won't be able to stop Wingmate Rock from coming down with Raid, and then we're basically dead after that. Can't catch up. Like in that scenario, we have 3 draws to hit a third land, and we have 21 lands left in our deck. So that's actually very good odds, because it's about a 40% chance each time. So it's almost an 80% chance that we hit our third land on time. And if we hit our third land on time, I think we have a very good shot to pull ahead in the game. So this is one case where just doing the math, calculating expected value is very good. And like I have a bit of an innate knowledge of it, of how the math works, because I've done the calculations before. But if you're not sure, then definitely do the math. Okay, this is very good. Oh, I forgot to take cards out. Gah. Okay. I'm tired. My apologies. And we'll see if this works anyways. I'm lucky that I had a reasonable number of lands in my opening hand. So that was it's a little embarrassing. It's the first time I've done this though. So I don't know. It's just weird. I wonder if Josh notices. We'll have to go back and watch his side of the video on pure MTG, or sorry, legit MTG, to to see if he actually notices or not. It's kind of funny in a very weird way. Sure. Um, grab the Polluted Delta. I want an extra card in the graveyard. because I have these two Murderous Cuts. Alright, then we'll go ahead and lead off with the Thoughtseize here. Also, just having a black source so we can Thoughtseize next, or so we can cut next turn is good. Oof. That is most definitely a hand. I'm pretty sure we take the Sarkhan and leave Josh with just mono removal, and then try to power through it with Whip of Erebos and Soul of Innistrad. That's the plan. If he doesn't have a good clock, then we'll be able to grind through and win the long game. Alright. So he drew land. And so did we. Which is actually a very good draw because it lets us, again, keep Murderous Cut up. And now Josh definitely does not want to kill this Wayfinder because we get to whip it back into play and find more with fodder. So killing the Wayfinder would be very bad for him. Interesting. Alright, well, I'll go ahead and whip the Courser into play. Might as well, right? Okay, that's fine. No land on top. But we have Sultai Charm, which is great. Sultai Charm is actually going to be pretty good. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about the noise. Alright. Anyways, Sultai Charm might give us a convenient way to discard the Soul of Innistrad. Which I think we're going to do. The reason that that's good is because it lets us activate it from the graveyard eventually, when we need to. Oh, but now we're just going to discard this whip. It lets us activate it from the graveyard when we need to, as opposed to casting it and then getting it hit with Chain to the Rocks. Seeker's not a problem. One, two, three. I'm still not going to cast the Soul of Innistrad. It's just going to get hit with Chain to the Rocks, and that would be a problem. I do have the option to cut the Wayfinder and then whip it back into play. But I will, if Josh doesn't play anything, I'll cut the Wayfinder at the end of the turn. Yeah. And we're doing this because we need more whip targets. And we draw Wayfinder. How cute. So that's just 1, embarrassing. Oh wow, Hornet Queen, sweet. And a Sidisi. So I generally would have sided the Hornet Queens out, but in this case, looks like they're going to work for us. Trigger. I still think killing off the Wayfinder was fine. We still have it in there for later, so if we need to find more gas, but things are actually going pretty well so far, so I'm not sure we'll even need a lot more gas than what we have. Sidisi's a great draw, keep her on top. Hornet Queen gets exiled, leaves her friends. And I'm going to go ahead and cast Sidisi and keep up Disdainful Stroke. Just not activate Whip this turn. I don't need to. And Stroke is going to be... Sure. Okay, we mill another Sidisi, so as long as I keep up Disdainful Stroke, there's pretty much no way that I'm actually losing this game in a million years, because I have the second Whip, I have Stroke, all sorts of goodies, and then a bunch of Sidisis in the graveyard, and the Soul of Innistrad hanging out in the hand, just in case. Sure. We're targeting... He's burning the Chain to the Rocks on an insect. Oh, wow. Okay, both Chain to the Rocks. On insects. That is what I call value. As in, we just got some. Let's just whip back Sidisi, see what he does with that before we proceed from there. Okay. Lightning strikes Sidisi, but we do turn over a Sagu Mauler. Again, I'm just going to hold up this Disdainful Stroke. There's really no reason not to. Like, our situation, our position is excellent, and we really don't need to commit anymore. I'm sure that if we did commit, it would be fine, but we just don't have to, so there's no reason to. It's best to play as conservatively as possible without reducing our chances of killing our opponent. And now we just whip back the Sagu Mauler. Crackling Doom is fine. Is there another? Okay. I'm not even gonna stroke that. Just keep playing around everything. We can afford to take one additional turn to kill Josh, but We can't really afford to get caught off guard by something random. Like Elsbeth would actually. Well, Elsbeth wouldn't be that much of a problem because we have the insect, but some random, really expensive spell that takes over the game or prevents us from winning. Like, yeah, that might have been problematic, but because we just hold up Disdainful Stroke the entire game, we're completely okay. Flipped over 3 lands, didn't get a trigger, but all 3 of the spells in Josh's hand have to be removal. Alright, and we got there. Sweet. So now we get to take out some of these cards. Like the Hornet Queens were fine. The one Hornet Queen I played was actually very good, but I think in most situations, especially on the draw, it just won't be that good. Same thing with regards to the Murderous Cuts and the Satyr Wayfinders. Oops. Caryatids are always great. Okay, so we're getting ready to go into the final game of the final match. Jeez. This is a mulligan because we have 2 shots to hit our second land, but then we don't have any help hitting our third. Like, if we had a Courser, I would be much more inclined to keep this because if we had our second land for Caryatid, then we're automatically casting Courser and having help to hit our third land for Sidisi. But as it is, it's a mulligan, and this hand is a lot better. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but Josh mulliganed as well, which means that these Thoughtseizes are going to be even more effective. And we're on the draw, so I'm just going to lead off fetching a Swamp and Thoughtseizing. The next turn we can Thoughtseize and play Opulent Palace, and I have 3 mana on turn 3 untapped. Butcher, Sorin, and Utter End. I think I want to just take the threats, but let's see. What did he do with the Scryland? Bottomed it. Okay. I think I'll just take the Butcher here. Sorin is a little less impactful overall than the Butcher. And, okay. Well, that's good. We just need to keep drawing lands. Okay, Forge, Mountain, and an Utter End. They'll be able to Utter End the first... Josh will be able to Utter End the first thing we play, but... Well, if it's not a Sylvan Caryatid. I'm just going to pass the turn. And I'll go ahead and cash in the Sultai Charm for 2 cards. It doesn't have any other targets right now, so... Oh, wow. Whip is good. Going to discard the Soul of Innistrad. because that's just maximum value. Okay, so now the question is, what do we want to stick? Do we want the Mauler to stick or the whip? And I think we want the Mauler to stick. Although I'm not entirely sure because Crackling Doom could be a problem. I think we want the Mauler to stick because even if Josh does draw an answer, we can always return it with Soul of Innistrad. And we're just going to play the whip here. Let Josh utter end it. We don't have much going on in our graveyard anyways. So we'll be a little more on the mid-range fatty plan than the graveyard recursion plan. Even if Josh realizes that we have, like, that we're not relying on whip this game, he doesn't really have a choice but to kill it. Ooh, that's nice. I'll go ahead and cast my Caryatid and leave up Disdainful Stroke. And then next turn we can cast Sagu Mauler. And things will be awesome. So we know that Josh has a land. Oh, that might even be better. Cast a DC and leave up Stroke. Yeah. Blue, green, black. We want, again, the goal is to run Josh entirely out of resources before he has to answer the Sagu Mauler. Does he just have all lands in hand? Looks like he's just flooding out. There's a very good argument to be made here for just holding up mana so that I can activate Soul of Innistrad or cast Disdainful Stroke. And I can afford to play something of a tempo game right now because I have the Stroke and because Sidisi actually grows my board presence every turn that she stays alive. So I'll just hold up mana. Soul can return Sidisi, Courser, and Doomwake Giant, which is an excellent hand to get back. Anger of the Gods is fine. Target Courser, Sidisi, Doomwake. And now we just straight up win the attrition war, basically no matter what. Alright, well let's cast a Courser. Let's get this going here. Green, green, colorless. There we go. I think I just want to hit lands here. Don't need the Sidisi when I have one in hand. Reclamation Sage is a great draw. Covers all of my bases, pretty much. Yeah, now we can even power through something like an Elsbeth. But we can also just power through nothing very easily. Sidisi is great to lead off with. Because we know we'll hit with the Wayfinder, and it gives us an extra chance to find a land with Courser. Alright, well, Whip on top is fantastic. I'm not going to play anything. I'm just going to hold up Disdainful Stroke. Just, again, protecting against the absolute highest impact things that Josh can do. Because anything lower impact, we can just power through without any issues whatsoever. So, alright, I'll play land. And then I'll go ahead and attack. No trigger, but deal some damage. And then I guess I'll play the Whip. I probably should have played it earlier, but like before combat. But it doesn't really matter. My life total is not under pressure at all. There's no risk of me suddenly dying out of nowhere. Sure. Rabblemaster can happen. Pretty sure that Josh is still dead here. Can whip back a Seder Wayfinder, which that doesn't really change the clock though, so I'll just go ahead and attack. Get a zombie. And lethal. Awesome. So, that's that matchup. I feel like when Mardu has an aggressive curve and has some good powerful offense like butchers and Rabblmasters and such, they're much more likely to win. Whereas when Sidisi gets the chance to set up, establish its mana, find a whip or a Sidisi or like Doomwake Giant, it's much more likely to get there. Like Mardu only has an edge in the late game if they have enough pressure in the early game to get Sidisi Whip's life total down. Anyways, thanks for watching. Check below for my conclusion. And next week we will have some more videos with some really sweet decks. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.